Yesterday, they bomb-shelled my hometown, my village, and my parents couldn't sleep. Few people get injured. I don't know if somebody died or not because there was no good internet until now to call and check on what's happening. Hello, my friends. I have my friend here, Alex, who gonna facilitate a conversation to help you understand the persecution, the genocide, and the ethnic cleansing of my own community, my parents, and my family. So I will give the mic to you, Alex, and you can ask questions.
Yeah, so this is something we don't hear about.
Unfortunately.
There's some kind of tragedy going on with the Druze in Syria.
Mm-hmm.
What exactly is happening?
Our community has been facing genocidal attack since many months, starting in 2018 when ISIS were attacking us, and continue after much harshly and more organized after the Assad regime fell down. And now we have been under attack twice, once in late April and 3 weeks ago started a big
And now it's really
genocide.
getting
Full
intense,
scale.
yeah?
It's full scale. We have more than 150,000 people displaced. That's almost 1/4 of the whole Druze people in Syria.
And there's a lot of killing.
Yes, more than 1,800 people have lost their life. Most of them were directly executed in a very horrific way, including this.
And it's reaching your family.
Yes, so my family has, the regime has cut the internet several times. Yesterday I couldn't reach them. I woke up with a nightmare, looking at my phone, wanting to know if they died or not.
Yeah, shocking.
Yeah.
Okay, so why is this happening? Who is this who's attacking the Druze?
So the situation is extremely complex. I'm trying to explain it as clearly as possible.
But there's basically some kind of Arab extreme, Islam extreme that says if you're not a Muslim, we kill you.
Exactly. It's Islamic extremists, not Arab, because we've been attacked also by people from Afghanistan, China, from many different countries who are not even Syrians. So the radical Islam see minority group, indigenous people, as kuffar or infidel. And their idea of Islam that those infidels should be either converted to Islam or killed. And that has been the situation since 2018. We've been attacked several times, like the other minority, like the Yazidis, like the Alawis, like the Christian. All minorities in Middle East, Jewish as well, are facing this genocidal mindset.
Yeah, I see. And so then what's happening with the response from the West?
We only saw empty words and promises of stabilizing Syria. On the ground, nobody sent humanitarian aid, nobody forced open a humanitarian corridor for the devastated area. And what we hear and we see actions on the ground is legitimizing for this terrorist who was behind the terrorist attack in the past on part of the Druze in Syria. Now he changed his jihadist clothes, wear a suit, and convinced the West magically that he's a moderate Muslim now and he's trying to bring peace to Syria. The truth can't be farther from this.
Yeah, okay. And so are you getting any support for this cause?
So we have been calling for help since 8 months, first for the Kurds, then the Alawites, then the Druze, and now we are again attacked. And nobody actually reached out for help. No, a single country sent humanitarian aid yet to the Druze people, except for one country that the world now hates so much, which is Israel. And that also lays in the conflict where because of all the hate that Israel gets at this time, people start to believe that any cause that Israel support must be bad or evil. So we are also losing the international empathy because of this collective hatred for Israel.
I want to highlight that the Druze community is very grateful for Israel's intervention in both stopping the terrorists and sending humanitarian aid.
Okay, and so who are these people? The Druze, you also mentioned the Christians, and the Christians, we know that there are Christians in the Muslim countries who are being persecuted.
Big time.
But then there's Alawites and Druze. Who are these people?
So the Druze people are an ethno-minority group. Their religious root is thousands of years old. The belief system is mixed of different philosophy, different spiritual paths like Hinduism, Buddhism, Sufism, Greek mythology, Christianity also, and Judaism. So we have 16 wisdom books, The latest invitation was for the Druze faith, came from Al-Hakim bi Amrillah, who was one of the Islamic leader in Egypt who invited for more openness in the Islamic culture. So he was inviting people to see what we know now as a spiritual practice. For example, like God is within you and you can pray wherever you want. You don't need to go to the mosque to pray because God is in nature, God is in you, God is in a tree. So he teach Unitarian consciousness. One of the things that pissed many religious leaders back then, that he declared that there is no need to go for Hajj because Allah is everywhere and Allah forgiving, so he can forgive your sins without needing to go to Mecca. And that caused a lot of economical destruction for the established state back then. And they declared a war on the Druze. So that was the time where the Druze started to be persecuted. And until this day, what they call fatwa, or like an Islamic decision of murdering the Druze wherever you find them, because they create this destruction of Islam. Another example is in the Druze culture, we value women, and one of the things that Druze cleric said, that man shouldn't have more than one wife because it's unfair for women, and that was back then for the Islamic world. It was revolutionary. Many people didn't like it.
Okay.
Also, like, you can't beat women, you need to treat them with respect, and all these things that caused rupture in the society.
So we've got this very intense situation, and we're really not getting much support for it, or even much awareness that it exists.
We are getting zero support, except for the only country that helped, which is Israel. Absolutely nothing. The Arab country actually took the side of the persecutor. They all backing and financing Al-Julani, who self-proclaimed president of Syria, and not even a word of condemnation of the genocide.
And so what do you think can be done?
I think the most important thing that people need to understand the conflict, need to understand that it's a systematic ethnic cleansing of a minority group who refuse to submit to radical Islam. It's important to see through the distortion of the media, where they frame the conflict as Bedouin fighting Druze, which is completely false. The Bedouin who lived with us, so if you look at the map of Sweda, the Druze region, there is a minority of Bedouin people and majority of Druze. So the Bedouin have joined the security forces of Al-Julani, and those Bedouin are the ones who attack the Druze, and not secular violence as they try to make it look like on the TV.
Okay, so the first thing we have to do is understand, and if there's other people who would like to get the message out through their own channels, it would be really good to
Yes, so it's important to read about it from Druze people. I never wanted to be an activist, but because there is so few of us who speak English and able to get the message out there, because we are traumatized. Even for me, I can't find the right vocabulary to speak about how horrific the genocide has been. So we need to amplify the voices. Very few voices who are speaking up. We need to correct the mainstream media who are publishing false information about the conflict, about the genocide, and calling it conflict or sectarian violence. We need to get immediate humanitarian aid, open the corridor. There is Sweden now, or the Druze region, has been sieged from all directions, including Jordan, ISIS fighters, all surrounding the Druze region. We need to open a road for them to exchange goods, to bring food, to bring fuel, so we can survive. Another important thing is to bring peacekeeping forces. So now there is a ceasefire, but the ceasefire has been broken almost every day. Yesterday, they bomb-shelled my hometown, my village, and my parents couldn't sleep. Few people get injured. I don't know if somebody died or not, because there was no good internet until now to call and check on what's happening. People couldn't communicate with each other, so the situation is really bad. My cousin had to wait 12 hours to get a piece of bread from the bakery, because there's so much demand and there's very few bakery who's operational. We need
so we need a humanitarian corridor that means that a way of getting trucks in that can help people,
Exactly.
and some peacekeeping forces that can actually maintain the security of that.
Yes, and we also need investigation. We want international investigation, unbiased team to go to the region and see the massacre and the genocide that is happening right now to our people. We need international forces to push the terrorists to go out of the city. Now they're still occupying 1/4 of our region. And they burned everything they had their hands on. They stealed everything. They destroyed everything. So it's very urgent. Another action steps that you can do is to push your government to force Jordan to open a humanitarian corridor. That's
You're
the only.
a government. You mean your politician?
Your politicians.
Yeah. Talk to your politicians and tell them about this and make them do something about it. And what we're saying is get that humanitarian corridor and the peacekeeping forces in.
Yeah.
It's
And
needed.
journalists as well. We need journalists to report on the truth of what's happening. So far, only Sky News had made an okayish report, but it doesn't really show the tragedy that's going on there. And we tried to send an independent journalist to Sueda, Druze region. Jolani forces blocked him from entering. We always say in the conscious community, if somebody in trauma, maybe they are not able to help themselves. So they need the help of the community. And our whole community is in trauma now, and they need the word support. They need your voice. And there is very few who are speaking for us. So please be one of them. Thank you.